be doing is covering the actual files that you'll need to start GenED. What we're going to do is replace the existing GenED, if you've already installed it on your system, with the one I will send you a link for. So what you need to do is basically go to your internet browser. In my case, I'm using Torch at the moment. You just type it in and type in this link, and it'll start downloading it for you. Once it's downloaded, once you've downloaded it, you should have a zip file. Just extract it. Once you've extracted it, you will get this, and in this folder are loads of other folders. I have included everything that you'll ever need to use GenED, so you'll be able to extract SDF files and also make them. You'll also be able to use the PropGen, which is a piece of software that will actually populate your maps with props and stuff, but that will come at a later date, and I'll show you how to do that in another tutorial. For now, once you've extracted the zip file and opened up your folder, this is the folder, the contents of that folder. What you need to do is go to the actual location where you installed ground control. So if you installed it in the default setting, it should be in your C drive, and there should be a folder in there called Sierra. If you open that up, there should be another folder called ground control, or GC, and in there is another folder called data. If you open up data and just basically copy everything in here and paste it into this folder. But before you do that, make sure that you save any work or SDF files that you currently have in your maps, missions and multiplayer folder, as these folders will be overwritten by the new installation. One thing you also need to do is remove the GenED.exe that you currently have there. Either rename it or remove it and put it somewhere else, and also the where is it, GenED data SDF, as this folder, the one that you extracted, already contains it, and it will overwrite the existing one. So once you've done that, you're ready to start with GenED. Okay, this is just a brief explanation of what each folder contains. A lot of them are self-explanatory, but I will go through it. Folder example height maps I have included for you to use. These have already got pre-configured height maps which I've created myself. A lot of these I've used in existing missions that I've already done. There is a little readme file in there. Just tells you what goes in, what type of files they are, and the fact that if you can, I encourage you to create your own height maps. The next folder is something called GenED. The next folder is a folder called GenED data. In this folder, if you open it up, are the bump maps and the cloud maps that you use for the editor. I've also included the desert bump map, which for some reason was never included in the original version of GenED. I've also included in here something that's a little note, a text document called GC Sky and Fog settings. If you open this up, this has the fog and ambient settings for the various clouds that you get. Again, I'll go through in more detail as how to use this. If you come up in there is a folder called Maps. Maps basically is the folder that contains all your SDF files. So once you've created your missions and stuff, your maps, the SDF files actually reside in here. You also have what they call a missions folder. A missions folder is all your single player maps which you are currently working on. So these are non-SDF files. I've also included a folder called MP files. If you open this up, there are folders in here called 2DS, 2DS plus Aero, 2DS Infantry, 3DS, 3DS Aero. Let me explain what this means. 2DS means 2 drop ships, and this one. So if you open this up, these are actually the squad files that you will need for ground control. These are already pre-configured, so it's just a case of copying all these and pasting them into your game. Right, let me come out of there. Now, if you're wondering what this pre-configured is, this is squad files pre-configured by Stat for the community. So it's to help you rather than keep configuring the loadouts when you actually start a multiplayer game. They're already done for you. Multiplayer folder, there is a folder in there called missions. If you open this up, there is another folder called example. Now this is the example mission from Massive for the desert multiplayer pack. And as you can imagine, all your missions for multiplayer go in here, all your non-SDF ones anyway. There's also a folder called PropGen. This is the software that generates and places props on your map rather than you having to do it manually. I've also included another folder called SDF extract, so you can extract any SDF files that you have, and SDF maker, pretty obvious, creating your SDF files. There's also another folder in here for a later tutorial which I will do on creating single player maps, as these are the files that you'll need to make your single player map work properly. I've also included a GenED readme first, which basically explains to you how to install these files, where to put them, etc. and stuff like that. So you're pretty much set. Okay, good luck. And what I'll do, I'll see you when I start my tutorials on GenED itself.